Two men shoved the girl's body into the boiler and pushed it in with tongs. Meanwhile, the calm boiler worker helped add 2 more loads of coal until the body was reduced to ashes. He noticed a yellow high-heeled shoe on the ground and felt uneasy, as it matched the birthday present he had given his daughter 2 days earlier. Could the person who was just burned have been his own daughter? However, the mob boss didn't give him time to think. Hayden said this was a ruthless Fulran who often engaged in unsavory dealings behind the scenes. They did this to serve the people. Afterwards, as usual, he discussed the novel he had written with Mr. Gwolu. Seeing Mr. Gwolu distracted, he gave a brief briefing and left with his subordinates. Still uneasy, Mr. Gwolu waited for shift change, then donned his worn coat and trudged through thick blood. Mr. Gwolu hurried to his daughter's herb shop for work and grew more anxious upon discovering she wasn't there. At that moment, her best friend appeared and told passers-by she had run away with all the shop's money. A local thug eloped. Mr. Gwolu couldn't believe it. He knew his daughter wasn't that type, but deep down he hoped his best friend was telling the truth because if so, then the one burned in the boiler wasn't his daughter. The over 60 boiler worker couldn't afford doubts and hurried to her home. After ringing the doorbell repeatedly with no response, his unease grew. He quickly used his spare key to open the door and saw another shoe haphazardly on the ground. Though he didn't want to admit the burned one was his daughter, the truth was clear. Mr. Gwolu was overwhelmed with grief. While holding his last high-heeled shoe, he walked to the furnace, crouched slowly, angrily threw the shoe inside, then turned to the wardrobe. Retrieving his long-forgotten military uniform, the retired man never expected to return to battle in old age. Walking through icy snow, Gwolu Gong felt no cold and couldn't understand why. After years as comrades, why would the gang boss burn his daughter's corpse before him? It turns out Gwolu Gong, once a war hero with great national achievements, was severely injured due to an accident. He was hospitalized for 3 months and forced to retire without benefits as a Yakutian, only a boiler operator though the gang boss was his comrade. Although he never fought in battle, his background ensured a wealthy retirement. Nevertheless, he remained unsatisfied and secretly engaged in numerous illegal dealings. He often borrowed his boiler to dispose of killed opponents, telling Gwolu Gong they were dangerous criminals harming the country. Guo never suspected and kept to himself, writing his own novels. He infused his novels with all the injustices he faced. To earn living, he burned the boiler in spare time and narrated battlefield stories to neighborhood children during leisure. He enjoyed his life, but even so, the boss withheld wages for various reasons while his daughter partnered with the gang boss's daughter to run a fur company. Despite their flashy attire, they only approached Boss Boluo for money each visit. Gwolu Gong loved his daughter deeply, always unhesitatingly using all his savings. As long as she succeeded, he gladly endured any hardship. Upon learning his daughter was pregnant, he felt relieved knowing she was involved with a Russian man. If they married, she could escape being Yakutian and no longer face those unfair treatments. But what they didn't know was the white knight his daughter spoke of was Wild Bull, a capable gang operative who speaks little but completes tasks swiftly and cleanly. Bringing the corpse to Boiler Palace, Wild Bull is a womanizer who dates the palace's daughter while secretly involved with the underworld boss's daughter. Though he grew up with Gwolu Gong's daughter, he found her irritating. When Guo bought her new shoes, he coquettishly desired a pair, mimicking his father. Wearing new shoes, the new gold woman eagerly approached Boiler Palace's daughter. Unexpectedly, sweaty Wild Bull opened the door but offered no explanation upon seeing her. He coldly closed the door, leaving the scheming woman deeply saddened and her emotions flaring. She couldn't tolerate a despicable Yakut man stealing her boyfriend and was determined to reclaim everything. The new gold woman constantly fought with Gwolu Gong's daughter, cursing when she wasn't late and ignoring whether she visited the plant early. As Xin Jingyu's efforts grew, she became unbalanced and approached her father to sow discord with Gwolu Gong, labeling him an old, ugly boiler worker and questioning why he received a Soviet hero medal while she got nothing. The underworld boss recounted Boiler Gong's battlefield heroics to his daughter, adding he was just a soldier who hadn't fought, so no medals were earned and past glory wasn't important. The former national hero is now a disgraced, notorious underworld boss. After failing to achieve her goal, the new gold woman resumed slandering Boluo Palace's daughter. She said their family funded the fur store, questioned his taking half the money, and that he needn't work daily. The underworld boss claimed the store idea came from Boiler Palace's daughter or Yakut people. Taking half the profits is normal, the boss stated, leaving new gold woman speechless and stubbornly pestering, denying competition for someone's boyfriend. Perhaps the black boss intended father to care for Gwolu's daughter out of love or motive, promptly sending Wild Bull to handle the woman in the boiler room. Wild Bull is a cold-blooded, ruthless killer. Upon orders, his emotionless face revealed no hesitation to kill his fiancée. Gwolu's daughter was overjoyed to open the door for her boyfriend, but he unexpectedly pulled a dagger and stabbed her heart, causing her to die without ever knowing his motives. She was already carrying the man's child, but Wild Bull ignored it, took a woven egg, placed his girlfriend's corpse inside, and carried it to his father's boiler room. In front of Gwolu, he shoved his daughter into the fire bottle. The previous boiler worker helped add wood until they found a high-heeled shoe, realizing thugs had killed her. These villains killed Guo Lu. He knocked on Black Boss's door and began selecting gang members to eliminate. However, when Black Boss saw his old comrade, he remained unsuspecting and even offered him expensive ski poles. He didn't notice the cold gaze behind Guo Lu's uniform. Guo Lu remained silent but firmly raised the ski pole. Its pointed end swiftly pierced the Black Boss's chest, revealing the man's red shoes. Upon hearing, Wild Bull rushed and was instantly throat-pierced by Guo Lu. Shortly, the leader's daughter arrived, saw corpses, and screamed. Although the new Jin Nu was the instigator of everything, Guo Lu spared her because killing her would cause her even more suffering. On the way back, Guo Lu was lost in thought, realizing that others would live their lives in grief, and so was he. Now, his only relative had also left him. Guo Lu could no longer find a reason to live. He wandered back to the boiler room, back to the place where countless corpses had been burned. Polo Palace now realizes the past wrongful spirits were indeed malicious, as the Black Boss had warned. He shared his story with the little girl who often listens, cautioning her against easily trusting others in the future. Guo Ruguang's second war ended quickly, just like his tragic life. He glanced at the blazing hearth, then silently took out a dagger and calmly rolled up his sleeves. Then he cut his own wrist artery with a knife. For this cold world, he had no lingering attachments.